Remember The Wizard of Oz? I was thinking as I was watching this that it was the first time that I saw color TV. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember going over to my friend's house to see the show, and I think when they entered the world, they got out of the town, wherever they were, Kansas, I guess, everything was in color. And it was so beautiful, and it was such a cute show. Actually, the talk title today, 20 Seconds of Insane Courage, I got from another movie that I saw, and it was called We Bought a Zoo. Anybody see that? We Bought a Zoo with Matt Damon. Yeah, it was a cute movie. And in the movie, the character played by Matt Damon is a father to a young son. And he tells his son of what can be accomplished in 20 seconds of insane courage. And of course, that was the zoo. So I'm not going to really talk about buying a zoo, but I am talking about the courage. It's a broad topic, but it's going to be about the courage. And today, it's going to be about the courage to live an authentic life, to be a really authentic person. And I think that's really important. There's a lot of things to be courageous about, but boy, if you aren't true to yourself, we aren't authentic at all. So we'll talk about authentic power. I was thinking about that because in our women's wisdom class, we kind of were talking about that. We were talking about the wisdom that we wanted to leave when we died. What wisdom was that? And we were talking about what we wanted to have, what we wanted to gain in life. And I think if I had to say what most people said, it was to live authentically, to live, according to your own values and your own beliefs. It means a lot of things to different people, but basically it boils down to that, being authentic. And when I say being authentic, I want to tell you what I think that means, because what I know it doesn't mean is I am what I am, okay? I'm going to say what I feel. This is it. This is who I am. That's not authenticity. Gary Zukov wrote a lot of different books, Power of the Soul and Seed of the Soul, and he says authentic power is when your human self is aligned with your soul. And I love that. It's aligned with your soul. So that means when you're doing anything, when you're thinking anything, when you're acting out in the world, you're doing it from the level of your soul. You walk through life at a soul level. So it really means that we have to be connected to something deeper and move that way. That's being authentic. It's taking a look at actually who we are humanly too. So I'm going to talk about that today, is that taking an honest look at who you really are, what lies deep within you, in your human self. We know that our divine self, that the power of God, that the divine is within each and every one of us, but it's always kind of masked by a lot of human stuff. So to be an authentic person, we got to kind of uncover it, peel the onion and peel the layers until we can really understand who and what we are as a person. And boy, I'll tell you, it takes a lot of masks. There's a lot of masks that are on us that we have to uncover. What they reveal are these wounded parts of us that are frightened. And that's pretty scary when we look at ourselves. And if that happens, we have to be able to act on it. We have to be able to act and do from that. And that takes a lot of courage, you guys. It takes a lot of courage to go within and find out who you really are. I'm reading a book now. I don't know if you have heard about this book, but it's on the New York Times bestseller, and it's called Educated. Have you heard? It's a really good book. If you haven't heard of it, get it. It's about a gal named Tara Westover, who was actually, true story, born in Idaho on a mountain without they were Mormons, actually out-of-the-box Mormons. Her father was a survivalist, and they packed away food and guns and were waiting for the end of the world. So she really never had any education. She lived with this family that was just an interesting bunch that she talks about. She was abused by her brother. It was mainstream medicine was mistrusted. But the whole book is about her determination to leave home and to get this formal education. And she's a brilliant, brilliant woman now. It was about her choice to look at herself deeply, to see what she had gone through in her life, to see the layers, to uncover them, that gave her the courage to finally leave and live this incredible life that she's living right now. You know, in this book, it drills into her, the family drilled into her who they thought she was, and she began to think that until she took it all apart and she realized who she really was. And it's an incredible read. I'm in the middle of it, actually. I was trying to finish it this morning. But I know that it took this insane courage, this crazy courage to leave that toxic situation. And I thought about all of us and how there's so many of you. I know your stories and how there were toxic situations in your life. There were toxic people in your life. And you had the guts and the courage to get up and to leave that situation and to make yourself better because of it. And I love that. I thought about this. My favorite quote of all time, and I really, really do believe this, is by Anais Nin when she said, "The day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." Boy, that just means a lot to me. That just means a lot to me. It means that there's so much inside of us sometimes that we can't move. We're paralyzed with fear. And the day comes when we have to realize that we got to change our situation. We've got to change the people in our life sometimes. We have to make a move. We have to be different than we are. It was more painful for her to stay in that relationship at home with her family and then to be who she really was. And so she left. So I want you to think back in your life at the situations, the people, and see who you've had to leave, or the thoughts maybe that you've had to change in your life, and get some insane courage to leave that situation so that you can blossom. See, if we want to live authentically, sometimes we have to feel the pain of going within and seeing what's inside, to face everything, as Judy will say sometimes. Krishnamurti, great philosopher, says, "To find our truth, we must go through the doors of ourself." Boy, what's buried there? What's buried inside of our human self? But boy, to get to the core, the beauty, the love, the purity of who we are, we got to know our human self. And then we got to work it together. Just like Gary Zukov says, we got to align that deep, beautiful soul that we have with those human qualities. We've got to face it and align it and walk that way. There's a line in the poem by Donna Markova who says, and her poem was, "I will not die an unlived life." We've read that a lot here, so I'm not going to read it. But the sentence that I love is, "I chose to inhabit my days, to allow my life to open me. To allow my life to open me, to make me less afraid, and to loosen my heart." Think about that. What does that mean? To allow your life to open you. And I just have the picture of living this closed life, of everybody telling you what to do, of this is the way it should be, or an open life that whatever happens to you, you accept it, feel it, and then you move from that soul level, from that place that you know better, that nobody knows better than you. It's a place where you follow your guidance, a place where you listen to your intuition, where you know what's right, you and your God inside of you. It's not listening to what's out there, what your friends think, what your family thinks, but it's what you think. Religions are the first one to tell us what to think. But you know the truth. Each of us know our own truth. So how does living make you less afraid? How does it make you less afraid to live your life? When you live from the level of the soul, you open to whatever comes. You start where you are. You open to whatever comes and you feel it. And if you don't like it, you work on it and you change it. And sometimes that means that we have to live or leave. We have to leave. Sometimes not. You feel the pain, and if you can't feel the pain of your life, you can't feel the joy. I spent a lot of time of my life not wanting to feel pain in my life. But the deeper you go with the pain, the deeper the joy is. That's huge. I want to feel it all. I want to feel the pain as with the joy. I want to feel more joy, but I want to feel the pain if it comes because I know it will teach me something. It will teach me to live my life in this powerful field of love, of joy. See, because what happens is when you open your heart and let life move through you, you create a space in your life. You create a space for the divine to move through you, for the divine within you, the God power within you to create that space so that it can rise and be you in the world. See? The courage to create a space for our own spirit to rise from within. And that means that we got to feel the day-to-day stuff. Whatever you're feeling's okay. Don't ever let anybody tell you that what you're feeling is not okay. It's not okay to act from it sometimes. But it is okay to feel it. That's the purpose of our journey here. You were placed here on a journey to learn. And if you deny your feelings, you're not learning. To know who you are and then to give it a voice. To give it a voice. It's about uncovering the authentic light inside of you, and to uncover the light, you gotta shine that on the darkness in us. And every single one of us have darkness, whether we think so or not. There's shadows within us. Not the devil. I'm not talking about the devil inside of you, although maybe I am. I'm talking about the toxic, sometimes, thoughts and the emotions that we have inside of us. And when we shine the light on us, we shine the light on our joy, on our love, and our heart can open again. We're present with our life. We're not living on the surface of life, only waiting for the good things to happen. Insane courage is about making the choices in our life to act from our own voice. It's about taking the risks. It's not so easy to take the risk. I don't know if I would have left if I was that young girl. She didn't know anything else. Can you imagine? She grew up in this little place, a mountain in Idaho, and never even knew that there were other states. Didn't know how other people even thought. And I'm sure there are people that are born and die that way, without ever opening up to find what life is about. Mark Nepo says that if you want to have if you want, Nepo, to have the life you want by being present to the one you have. Okay? Does that make sense? If you want a perfect life, or it's not ever going to be perfect, but it'll be perfect for you, it'll be your life, you got to be present to what's going on in your life now, because what's happening is perfect for you, is what he's saying. What's happening is perfect in your life right now. Might not feel perfect, but it's perfect for your soul's growth, your soul's journey. And he says we have to be aware when the feelings arise, be aware of what's happening. He says, but we don't have to act out on it right away. Sometimes we do, but we have to know what's happening, and then at that point go within and decide. So I was thinking, what does this mean? I'm always applying this to stuff going on in my life. And I thought about this, and I thought, okay, so sometimes when things irritate me, I will mouth off and I'll say something sarcastic, or I'll say something maybe passive-aggressive. That's probably my mode. Everybody's got a little different way of dealing with the stuff in their life. And what he's saying is that we've got to feel it, and we've got to see what that's about. Because he says it doesn't require courage to be angry or jealous or vengeful, but it does require courage to feel the physical sensations underneath those emotions and then challenge them by not acting on them. But how could that doesn't make sense. But it does make sense. I was in a car with a load of people, and the person driving pulled into a handicap parking. He wasn't handicapped, right? Big, healthy guy, right? And he pulls into a handicap thing. Nobody says anything, but I can feel, right? My kind of, what's that feeling you kind of get, where you just go, oh, what are you doing? You can run in there. You can walk in there. So I start to feel it inside of me. Do I say something? Do I don't say something? So I think that's what he's talking about, is that you feel that emotion, right? You feel what's going on inside of you, but you don't act on it and say, before I might have said something sarcastic, something passive-aggressive. I didn't do it. But I did speak, and I spoke the truth. And all I said was, I'm really uncomfortable with this. I don't like it. I don't like to be in a car when you are doing something you're not supposed to do and you're hurting other people and doing it. And that was authentic. That was real. And it came from where I was. And that's what he's talking about, about being responsible with your words, your choices, coming from your soul. I said that in a nice way. It didn't come from a sarcastic mind thing. It came from my heart because I didn't want the kids to learn the same behavior because it's wrong behavior. So I think that that's kind of a surface level of what I'm talking about. So I want you to think of challenges in your life right now, an experience that someone has wronged you, and when we look deep enough, we see that toxic people, they show up all over in our lives, and sometimes we're toxic people too. Toxic situations show up in our lives, and, we have to deal with them. So I want you to think about those in your life and what you say, what you do, how you feel, what's your intention. You can ask yourself always. That's how I kind of challenge my life, is to say, what's my intention here? What's my intention? Because your intentions are what create your experience. Is your real intention to create harmony, to be able to speak from the level of your soul? Or is your intention to have discord and to get your opinion out there? What is your intention? Because when you are speaking your intention, you are creating your life, the power in your life. So as I close, I want you to kind of just, remember this and look into the mirror when you get home. This is, you're on a journey, you guys. We're on the spiritual journey of consciousness. And we have to understand as we're looking in the mirror that we are a complex set of masks. We are complex beings with all of these layers going on inside of us, all these emotions, all of these feelings. And down deep inside is buried that incredible, divine beauty, light that we all are. And we have to remember that we're on this hero's journey to reveal that light, right? And we have to give ourselves credit because, boy, just to live in this world can be scary and can be difficult. But here's what I know is that each one of us have that incredible courage inside of us. I think Judy's meditation said, we have all the courage we ever need. And that's so true. You have all the courage, all the love, all the beauty. Everything you need is already within you. But it's buried by all the mask of being human and all the hurts and all of the stuff that we need to uncover. And that's the idea about looking at it, about shining the light on it so we can get to that place of finding the courage within us. We have lifetimes of lessons, but we all are getting there slowly by peeling off these layers. You have all the courage that you need to live a life of resilience. Each of us need to believe it because we have it. My prayer for all of us, may we meet life with insane courage. Thank you.